Hello, welcome to our Tuesday Live. And if you can see me, if you can hear me, let me see your comment right in the comment section. Yes, we are live, and yes, we are here. If you can see me, please comment in the comment section. I know that I can see a few chats already. It's 2 p.m. Today, we're going to be looking at an interesting topic, a topic that a lot of people have argued. Oh, is it really true that we have principles that work parenting? The truth is that yes, parenting has principles that work it. My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. The Intentional Parent Academy is an academy for parents where parents learn how to learn to parent. Yes, so you're in the right place. Yes, every child is different. Yes, homes have different dynamics. However, there are certain principles and practices that can help parents raise children who thrive. The question is, do you know them? So that's part of what we're going to be sharing today, sharing with you on those principles of, of how children actually thrive. What are the things that your child would have to do? What are the things that you have to do to help your child? So the principles that work, right? The principles that work. Now, there are certain principles and practices that can help a parent raise children who thrive. All right, this is very key and very, very important. Sorry, give. All right. So, what are these principles? What are these things? So, invite your friends, your family, your everybody you know that this is going to help. And before I start this conversation today, I want to say thank you to every single one of you for celebrating me on my birthday. All right. It was such an awesome time. Friday, amazing time. And I just want to say thank you. May God bless you for all the prayers and all of the good wishes that you sent out to me. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. So, now, principle number one. Principle number one, safe system. Somebody who's going to be a scribe today. Safe system. Now, a safety, when it comes to safety for a child, many times when parents hear safety, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, safety. I need to protect my child. I do not need people to talk to my child. I do not need people to do this to my child. I do not need people to. So you look at safety only in the physical, idea of safety. But safety is way beyond that. When we talk about safety, we're talking about other things that make up, a system that actually helps the child thrive. And when it comes to the principles of raising a child who will thrive, safety tops the chart. Now, what is safety? Safety for a child means, number one, predictability. I have said oftentimes that unpredictability is actually an enemy of intentional parenting. Many of the times I've seen people say, I'm very predictable. I'm very unpredictable. My children don't know what I will do next. I'm not predictable. You can't try me. You can't, and all of those things that we say. When you create a system that is not predictable, you actually create an unsafe environment for your child. How do you create a predictable system? You create a predictable system by putting together, right, a system where your child, a safe system where your child had routines and had systems that work, that routines and structures. Number two, what does safe system mean? It means safety for a child means supportive. So you can say, oh, I'm going to lock all my door. I won't allow anybody to come in. I will not allow anybody to get into my house and all of that. And yet your child is not being supported. What does being supported mean? It means that whatever it is, what a child has interest in, he has someone supporting them. What a child needs to learn, they have somebody supporting them. That's actually what safety means for a child. Another thing that you need to talk about when it comes to safety is discipline. Now, when people tell me that, oh, intentional parenting, you people are preaching that you should not discipline your child. In fact, intentional parenting actually only strives on the subject discipline, because discipline is a core for you to be able to achieve safety for your child. If you run a system that is indisciplined, your child can never ever be safe. Now, let me say this. When we talk about discipline, the problem with discipline is that we do not know what the definition of discipline is. Now, what is discipline? Discipline is structure. So if you create a structure in your home, you create systems, you create routines. Many of us can't follow routines because we're not disciplined enough to do that. But unfortunately, we think that discipline is about being aggressive, about beating people, about shouting up and down. That's discipline. But most of you cannot hold yourself to the standards that you are holding your children to. I give you a typical example that I give parents in the inner circle a lot. I tell them, you want your child to finish, you read a book. You're always shouting, you don't read, you don't do this. But have you ever thought that you too, you don't finish reading any book? In discipline, you see a traffic light, you hit it, and you pass it. And then you tell yourself, I'm a very disciplined parent. Because you are aggressive, you can't control your emotions, and you hit your child. So that defines discipline for you. So for children who do not have discipline around them, they don't feel safe. They don't feel safe. People actually think that children feel safe where you allow them to do anything they like. That's not true. Children feel safer when you put structures and systems in place and they understand what should and shouldn't be. Boundaries. Very important. Very, very important. All right? So you need to ask yourself a lot of the times, am I really disciplined? Or am I just, misinterpreting what discipline should actually mean? What does discipline mean to you? Many of us raised in our generation, I will give example of my generation because I interact with a lot of people in my generation, are very indisciplined. Now, recently, there was an election in my country, Nigeria, and I saw the display of the so-called people who have called themselves very disciplined people. Now, until we redefine what discipline should mean, our children will not be safe in the system that we are creating. So you need to ask yourself again and again, am I really disciplined? Am I really demanding from my children what I can deliver on? Without discipline, your child isn't safe. Another part of safety when it comes to the safety system are mistakes. Your child should be able to make mistakes for them to be able to feel safe. Yes, mistakes are part of the safety system. If your child lives in your home and your child is so afraid of making mistakes, that home is not safe. And it means that that child will not learn. Now, I was reviewing this, my book, Raising the Independent Thinking Child. And I was in a particular page where it says tools for raising independent thinking child. If you're going to raise an independent thinking child, one of the very first things you need to learn is to allow your children to make mistakes safely and also be able to learn. Children do not learn outside of that. All right? And this is very, very important. Mistakes are a proof that your children are learning. That's one of the things that I said in that book. Mistakes are a proof that your child is learning. Thinking through mistakes are part of your teaching your children how to think independently. All right? Mistakes are opportunities for your children to learn. Remember that what we're talking about is how to help your children thrive. If your child isn't thriving, watch it. You might actually not be creating a safe space, and a safe space includes mistakes. Another safe part of safe place are failures. Failures. If your child can't fail safely within the confines of the environment you have created, you will fail to help your child to thrive, because nobody actually succeeds without failing a multiple times. So you must teach your children how not to be afraid to fail. A lot of us are afraid to fail because our parents gave us that thing about failure. I was talking with a friend recently, and she said to me, I can't start anything because I don't want to fail at it. The fear of failure is actually what has resulted in us not being able to create things in this part of the world, because you do not want to fail. And look at the inventions that we have. We have the light bulb, and it was said that Thomas Edison failed 99 times. You know what that means? But we are afraid of even failing once because we've been told that failure is fatal, that failure is final, that failure is the end. For your children to be safe, it's better for your children to fail in your home, get corrected, learn it before you launch them out there. Very important. And the last one, under the safety system, are opportunities. You must create an environment in your home that gives opportunities for your children to thrive. For instance, in the Inner Circle program, one of the things that we create is to give opportunities for your children to lead, to thrive, to do things. And that's the only way that you can actually help your children, because those opportunities actually help your children, grant them access on what it is that they need to do differently. That is number one principle, the safety system. So if you do not have a safety system in your home, go back and go and look at that system that you have and go and think about it. Is this place really safe for my child to thrive? If you're listening to me for the first time, let me see your comment in the comment section. I don't know if we have first timers listening to us for the first time. Let me see you say hi in the comment section. And if you're getting value, let me see you share your favorite emojis. And let me see you also share this link with a friend. Put it on your status, put it on your WhatsApp status, on your Instagram status, Facebook. Let people learn. The more we all learn, the more this is going to be more effective for every one of us. You know, when they say that it takes a village, this is the village. Now, that's the kind of village we have today. We no longer have the village of, oh, go to the town square. We now have the village of you and I. So it takes a village. Carry your friends along, carry your family members along, because trust me, if you are learning alone, it becomes a struggle, because you're going to learn and your children will interact with other people around you, and it becomes a big deal. Let us go on. Number two principle. Number two principle, I call it the principle of values and not rules. The principle of values and not rules. Now, when you create, you know, when you create principles, right, of values instead of just rules in your home, right, what you're doing is that you're helping your children own the process. Part of what we do when you get into the inner circle is that we help you create value system, help you create a family vision, help you create a family mission. That way your children internalize what it is that you're teaching. Now, I am teaching this session now. It's not something that, I usually say it all the time. The parents in the inner circle understand these sessions differently. The parents outside of the academy, these sessions are going to be a little bit, off. But when you are in the academy, it's a better thrill for you. I might not be able to really, give all of that details, but hey, I would actually advise you to book a slot and join the next cohort, because it will do you a lot of good. All right? That is very important. And traders will also attest that before they got into the academy, the Tuesday lives sound differently after they joined the academy. All right? And it's something that it's worthy of note. Now, this doesn't mean, when I say set values and not just rules, this doesn't mean that your home should become a lawless place. No. But it is because rules are limiting, values are limitless. Values are game changers in parenting. Values are game changers in parenting. And the moment you understand values, all right, you understand that some of those things that we're talking about, you don't need to fight it. Okay? You don't need to fight it. And this is very good. Sorry, I'm just So sorry about that, please. All right. So values are game changers in parenting. When you set rules, you limit your child and give them a fixed mindset. Okay? You give them a fixed mindset when you live just by rules. But when you live by values, your child gets a buy-in in your process and it becomes limitless. What you can do with that is unlimited. Now, when it's about rules, all right, when it's about rules, the only thing that you find out that happens is that it's just, your way of the highway. Okay, so it doesn't get your children to even see why they need to internalize the process of what you're trying to, do. Okay, of what you're trying to do. So when you share values, this is very important. Let me say this again. Okay, I want you to write it down if you can. When you set rules, okay, I hope you guys are writing. When you set rules, you limit your child and give them a fixed mindset. When you live by values, you get your child a buy-in of your process and give them a limitless mindset. So rules are limiting, values are limitless. Did anybody get that? Did anybody get that quote? I'd like us to get it. Did anybody get that? Okay. This is very important. It's a very important part of this conversation. Remember, we're talking about the principles of parenting for raising children who thrive. There are major principles. And if you fail at them, everything that works by principle, parenting inclusive. All right? Parenting inclusive. Tim, did you get that quote? Did you share it on Telegram? Parenting inclusive. This is very important. Okay? So, parenting works by principles. I've heard people say, oh, all these principles that we're talking about, okay? All these principles that we're talking about. No, I need the full quote. All right? All the principles that we're talking about, people ask, oh, you're talking about principles. Are you sure that parenting actually needs, principle? You just do what works for you. When you do what works for you, all right, I'm going to read it again. When you do what works for you and you bypass these principles, there is you set yourself up for probability instead of an intentional result. Okay, please let's put that down. When you set rules, you limit your child and give them a fixed mindset. When you live values, your child gets a buy-in of your process and becomes limitless. Okay, so okay, so you set rules, and I hope we got the last part. Somebody said they didn't get the last part. I've said that again. But let's move on, all right? I'm sure one of the team members will put that in the comment section. Please, if you're listening to me, put it in the comment section so that people can see that code. All right. Let us keep going. Number 3. Remember that we have done principle number 1, principle number 2. Principle number 3, the principle of responsibility. This principle of responsibility. Okay? When your child isn't taking responsibility, it means someone else is taking it for them. Let me say that again. When your child isn't taking responsibility, it means someone else is taking it for them. Yes, thank you so much, Chidima. When you do what works for you, you set yourself up for probability result instead of an intentional result. Okay? Thank you so much. Now, responsibility, the principle of responsibility. Okay? The principle of responsibility. It means that someone else is taking that responsibility for the child. Now, when they don't, when your child is not taking responsibility, what happens is that you are not only absolving them of work, you are also absolving them of the ability to learn that work has to be done and that we all have to be part of the puzzle to get every work working. We all have to be part of the puzzle. So you are not just depriving your child of work, you are also depriving them of the ability to understand process in life. So when your child isn't taking responsibility, it means someone else is taking it for them. So it's not just about teaching skills, it's about absolving them of the process they should be learning. All right? And for anything to work, you need to be part of the puzzle. It's a principle of being able to parent children who will thrive. In fact, there is a Harvard study that says that children who do chores, who take up chores, actually thrive better in the work environment more than their contemporaries, all right, in that whole setting, and when they become young adults. So you need to actually put that up, think about it, and ask yourself, am I really giving my children enough responsibility? Today I shared a quote that is from the Resident Independent Thinking Child, my latest bestseller. And in that quote, I said, never do for a child what he can do for himself. A dependent child is a demanding child. And a demanding child will weary you out forever. Even when they leave your home, they will weary you out. Children become irresponsible only when we fail to give them opportunities to take responsibilities. So when you say, I don't want my child to suffer, remember that before you raise a demanding child. No parent wants to be in that place. When you raise a demanding child, it wearies you out. Do not forget, a dependent child is a demanding child. You must think about raising an independent thinker. That's how to raise children who thrive. Your child will need to understand that they need to do work and serve people in order to be part of life. That's what responsibility is. And I call it the responsibility quotient. The responsibility quotient. All right? Responsibility. That's what it means. The ability to respond. A lot of our children we're raising today do not have the ability to respond. They can't respond. We have raised them for us to respond for them. That's why we talk for our children. That's why we wash for them. That's why we pick their toys. Somebody asked me, at what age should children take responsibility? I said, as soon as they are born. There's a responsibility per time for a child. Sometimes I see 2-year-olds, their parents are running around, running helter-skelter, picking toys for them. Why? I can't think it. Why? Why am I picking your toys? It starts from there. Very little things that you do. So you absolve your children of what they should be doing. And then you say, no, it's because I suffered a lot. I don't want my children to suffer. I want sufferers. All right? The Sufferers Association of Nigeria. We, the sufferers, the ones suffering children. And yet you come out and you are that same parent who is carrying cane up and down, beating the child. Yet your child can take no responsibility at all. And for you, you're raising someone who will thrive. No, your child won't thrive without learning how to take responsibility. Again, when your child isn't taking responsibility, it means that someone else is taking it for them. And that doesn't only, kill your child now, it also kills them in the future. Very important. Let us move on. The next principle is the principle of honor, not obedience. This is going to be a bit controversial if I go too deep. So I will just run it on the surface because it's not a topic that I like to teach in that way, right, in the public, except for people who are in the academy, who understand the process before you get to the point where you're learning honor being a higher knowledge instead of obedience. So when you teach it like this, people say, did you say your children should not obey? So, but let me say this. When somebody asked me, should my children obey all the time? I said, no, they shouldn't. If they do, then I'm raising a zombie. All right? And that's where honor comes in. Now, the principle of honor over obedience teaches you to teach a child who will think for themselves, not just a child who will just obey every word that comes out of your mouth. Now, why is that important? It's important because you are not infallible as a parent, because the infallibility narrative is a false narrative, because we were raised with that infallibility narrative. Now, when you teach honor over obedience, you raise the bar. It means that your children understand your place, and yet they are able to also think for themselves. I will stop here. I will stop here. But I'm sure that I've made the point. But there's a course in the inner circle that is called honor as a skill. You can't recover when you listen to that webinar. It changes your parenting system. It changes who you are. All right, changes who you are. This is very, very important. But let's go on. The next principle is the principle, all right, is the principle of mentorship. The principle of mentorship. Now, when I talk about mentorship, yesterday I was in a session with the parents in the inner circle in level 2 on Zoom. And when we finished our book review, and I was talking about something called parenting partners. Many of the times we do not understand that our children need a system. That's why we do creating a social roadmap for your Gen Z in the inner circle, where we teach parents how to map out a roadmap where you actually fit in these people on your journey. Trust me, a time will come where your child will not tell you everything. When parents say, "Oh, my children just, they are my best friends," I'm like, "What is that? What does that even mean?" And let me also sound it again and again. Your child is not your friend. Your child do not have the emotional capacity to be your friend. Go and find your friend. And at some point, your child will not tell you. You see that thought of, "I want my child to tell me everything." It's actually a thought of control. It comes from the place of control. Does it mean that the child is doing something bad? No. It only means that at some point, the child is trying to find themselves. And when they are trying to find themselves, you need to place people in their lives at certain point where they will question and also get answers. On your parenting journey, you are not an alpha and omega. If you see yourself as that, then you're going to actually crash at some point, especially when you begin to have teenagers. That's why a lot of parents fight with teenagers, because you do not understand the principle of mentorship. Ask any successful parent, they will tell you this place. I was reading something about, I think, about a book about a particular world changer. And he said one of the best things, oh, yes, a professor who was autistic. The mom was saying, "I had to get my children to also see models outside of what it is that they are also seeing, but models that are carefully selected. Because your parenting journey is left on a fluke, is led by do what works for you. All right? Do what works for you." Okay? All those do what works for you. That's why you actually struggle. So your parenting journey must be thoughtful. It must be thoughtful. It must be processed for you to actually be able to get to the point where you raise a child who will thrive. So introduce models who are not you. Models who are not you. This is very important, right? Mentorship. I taught the parents in the inner circle the principles of mentorship, and you can't take that away. There are a lot of team mentors around that you can verify and take your children to. There's Coach Ebuka, there's Coach Etima, there's Coach Tozie, who will help you on your journey. While your child is going through that, you are also learning. Now that takes me to the next prayer. Yes, your parenting journey must be thoughtful and must be processed. Your parenting journey must be thoughtful and must be processed. Number two, not the next one, sorry, not number two, is the principle of knowledge and learning. The principle of knowledge and learning. When a lot of parents come to me, all right, one of the things that I get is parents, saying, "Oh, do I really need to learn this?" Today alone, I've received 3 calls of people asking me, "Oh, so there was a particular call of somebody telling me that I should please come and save her now. The child stole, and I need to be in the school to save the child so that they don't punish the child and they don't." I had a good laugh, and I said to her, that can happen. Parenting is about process. Parenting is seed time and harvest. You cannot come out of the blues. You've never taken any course. You've never read any book. How do you want to know the answers to your troubles? When troubles come, how will you know what to do? The principle of knowledge and learning. The principle of knowledge and learning. Now, it's been said that parents who raise successful people, they learn, research, and understand child development and growth. Today I shared something. Someone was in the this consulting room with me today, coaching session, and she said to me, she shared with me what happened to her some years back. She said, "My parents did everything, yet my brother chose to be useless. They are all scholars. They are all, people doing well in their career. Their brother was given the same opportunity, but unfortunately, that same brother couldn't do what they did. And of course, now he's laughing about lack of exposure and all of that." And then she came to a point to me, at a point where she was sharing this story with me, her son was also tending towards the same line. Now, let me tell you what happens when you parent by probability, when you parent by whatever works for me, please let me just do it. You parent by lack of knowledge, you actually set your children up for failure. Why do I say so? Because every child is unique, every child is different. What it means is that you would need to help each child in their uniqueness to be able to help them. And that's why we run the Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent course. All right. In that course, one of the things that we have found is that parents need to understand who they are raising. And when I finished with this woman, 1 year later, she sent me a chat telling me that the son came out with an all A's in SAT. Now, it is not about, she said, "Look at how I would have just assumed that my child is just like my brother, just because my parents didn't understand what it is that they needed to do." Many of the times, we are looking at some of these things, all right? We do not even understand what it is that is doing to us. Because we do not have knowledge, you actually fail. You actually assume a lot when you don't have knowledge. There's a lot of assumption. There's a lot of, things happening everywhere. Some parents will come to me and say, some people are giving their children, some books to read. I was sharing with parents in the inner circle. Some of the books you're giving your children to read are not books that they can ever read, because it's not their learning style, kind of. You want to get your children to learn from their learning style, then into their non-dominant learning style, which is very, very important. So you need to understand that learning is not even a place that you can abdicate when it comes to parenting, because that's the only way your children would actually learn. I say that your children are a product of your knowledge, a product of how they were raised, a product of the environment where they were raised, and a product of what the person who raised them know. This is very important. This is very important. What is it that the person who raised them, what do they know? And that's why, I'm urging you today, register for understanding your child's learning style, because you will think that my child is dumb. Oh, that's how my mother, that's how my brother is. And maybe there are people who just don't learn. You can go and read that article on my Facebook timeline and also on my Instagram timeline. We shared it today. All right, you can go and read that story. Where the woman was saying, maybe my son is not just the kind of person who learns. I will just push him through and just get him a job somewhere and set. And many of you, that was done to your siblings, and yet they are not learning. It's not about just passing, it's about learning. And if you want your child to learn, then you want to understand who you are raising. And how do you understand who you are raising? You can only understand who you're raising by understanding how they learn, how they love. So we're currently reading the book, um, Why You Act the Way You Do in Level 1. Now, a lot of people have come to me reading that book to say, I didn't even know who I was. Many of you raising children don't even know who you are, which is actually the real problem. You don't know who you are. You just assume that you know. You just, look at yourself, that you just, there's too much assumption without knowledge. Please don't do that to your parenting journey. All right, we're telling you to come and learn. I'm sure somewhere somebody's sitting down and just saying, all these things. Oh, I can. What is it that we need to learn? Did our parents learn? Oh, they did it, and of course, look at the mess all around you. And of course, it's whatever it is that was available to them that they used. You have no reason at all to fail on your parenting journey. Trust me. You have resources all over the world staring you in the eye to actually do better. If you decide not to do better, it is your choice. You don't want to. There is no disaster like parenting a child that you don't really know. Yes, it is a disaster. Some children you're raising, I have counseled a 24-year-old girl who told me that she knows that her parents love her, but that she doesn't feel loved in the environment where she's coming from. This is a key factor. And, that could just be that your child is loved by physical touch, and all you do is, word of affirmation. You just can't know. So all these do what works for you. It worked for my first child. I've done it for my second child. What are they even saying? Continue. Because when you call us, it will be emergency, and we'll charge you for emergency. The fee for emergency is different from the fee for going through the process. So get into the process today. Get into the academy, and it's going to really help you. All right? This is me telling you that you will find help that you're looking for. A lot of the times, it's just because we haven't even thought that help is available. Help is available. I have seen children who have struggled to school, and a lot of them, have done quite a lot just because their parents got access to knowledge, just like understanding their children's and star. I am an example. My son became a superstar just because we understood how he learned. That was all. Today, my son will do almost 100% average in a secondary school. And this was a boy who struggled to read. Come on. But of course, you just give up. You just say, all this, that's how he is. That's how God created him. Who told you? Who told you that that's how God created him? God didn't create any child to be dumb. God didn't create any child not to be smart. You are responsible to actually get help for your child. It is your job. It is your job. And if you fail at it, then you fail your child as well. And that's why I tell parents in the inner circle, you are a destiny custodian. When you're a destiny custodian, it means that you can't fail on duty. It means that it takes you everything. You take everything to actually make sure that you succeed. Get into the academy. It's going to change your life. All right? Going to change your life. Okay? And I can see someone say, what of us learning free? You think you're learning free, there's a limit to free. Let me also say this. The Bible says, buy the truth and sell it not. The truth is not free. The truth is not free. So it's okay. You're going to learn, but it's going to limit you. It's going to get to a point where it's limited. I won't lie to you, right? Going to limit you. There's a lot of learning to learn. There's a lot of things to learn on free. But if you want to go far, then you want to actually move away from free and begin to think through the process, because this doesn't give you the put together process that you require to actually be able to go through. All right. So don't think you're cheating anybody by learning free, right? You're just cheating yourself, not anyone. But it's good that you start with the free, and then please do not stop at the free. That's my point. Start with the free, but don't stop at the free. Buy books to read. Buy get into courses, get into that kind of back, read. It's more than what you can imagine. It's more than what you can, listen to here. Trust me when I say that. All right. Now, the next one is, okay, so I was reading one research. All right. I was reading one research, and I saw that one research said that Children who are successful in life, you find that their parents got them to learn mathematics early. When people ask me about mathematics, a lot of the time, all right, I smile. And when you hire a teacher for mathematics, I actually smile. I actually laugh at it because mathematics is problem solving. If you really want to raise a child who thrive, research, this is research. You can look for it online. I didn't do it. You want to teach your children, parents of toddlers, go and teach your children numbers. Go and teach them how to solve problems. That's what mathematics is about. That's what mathematics is about. Okay? How do I get into the academy? Yes, the academy, the inner circle program is the biggest program in the academy. Yes, it's the longest. It's the one that takes you through the process, that helps you through the process. Okay, let's go on. The next thing is the principle of intentional parenting. The principle of intentional parenting. Now, when it comes to this particular principle, it says that children are the parents of this particular kind of children, right? Who raise children who thrive. They are ready to admit their child's flaw and help them overcome it instead of projecting perfection. Instead of projecting perfection. This is very important. So when you project perfection, okay, the principle of intentional parenting means that you are helping. It doesn't mean that your children, intentional parenting is not perfection. Intentional parenting is about the process. And that's why I keep talking about the process. That's why I keep saying that there's no one class that can help you on this journey. Quote me anywhere. There's no one conference that can help you on this journey. There's no one course that can help you in totality on this journey. You need to get into a system, a process. You need it. That's if you're looking to raise children, who thrive. That's it. There are two dimensions to this thing. All right. For those of us who just think, oh, I can just do, free things, learn and just get away with it. It's fine. Because there are two dimensions to this, to parenting. Is that you're raising, you're building a mansion or you're building a shanty. Either way, they are both houses. All right. They are both houses. A shanty is a house. People live in shanties and it's fine. A mansion is also a house. People live in mansions and it's fine. So the question will be, the choice is yours, really. So it's not about what we're saying. It's about whether you are going to go through the process, tips, hacks here and there. It's okay. It's fine. You're going to get through it. But if you really want to actually go through the process of building a mansion, trust me, mansions require that you hire professionals. That's what it means. So maybe that explains it a little bit better. Okay? So free things will give you shanty, right? And then the process that you need to commit yourself through. Now, the process is not just about paying. It's about, process of a system that holds you accountable, all right, to it. That's what the principle of intentional parenting is. The principle of being able to look at, what needs to be done. Being able to, not to parent under probability. I call it the what we be kind of parenting. What will be? Somebody's asking if there's an installment payment. You can pay the installment before the program starts in December 1st. Oh, for the record, the next program is starting on the 1st of December. We don't admit people until 1st of December. It's an annual program. You don't get in the middle. So no, you can't get in. Yes, you can book a slot now, right? You can book a slot with 5,000 naira. The annual fee is 70,000 naira. On the first session, your fee finishes with what you're going to learn. I can assure you. Okay, so it's not even about the amount. When you get in, you know that the inner circle is underpriced completely. But that's, conversation for another day. Now, you need to understand that when we talk about intentional parenting, we're not talking about raising children who are perfect. Because a lot of people have misconstrued intentional parenting for perfection. Intentional parenting isn't perfection. Intentional parenting is about the process. What process are you putting together for your child? It's about the process. So process over perfection. Intentional parenting is a journey, it's not an end. Journey through is not an end. Intentional parenting is not about raising the child is going to be the best. No, it's about raising a child who will thrive. It's not about raising a child who will just, a good child. No, because goodness is not a skill. Your child can be good and not thrive. I've seen it happen over and over again. So when you focus on raising a child, oh, I just want to raise my child to be obedient to, your child can be good and still fail in life. Your child can be good and not fulfill destiny. Goodness is not a skill. And that's why in the parable of the 10 virgins, there were the ones, he said they were foolish virgins. Virgins, you know what virgins mean? Virgins are people who are, upright, morally upright, have not, they were seen as good girls, but they were foolish. So your child can be good and foolish at the same time. So don't get it twisted. So all this, oh, I'm raising my child. My child is the intentional parenting is not about raising good children. It's about raising children who will fulfill destiny. Fulfillment of destiny is beyond goodness. It's beyond my child, is perfect. So all those perfection you trail is null and void. All those perfection, oh no, my child, I know I'm doing well. I see some parents say, I'm doing well. My child will never lie. While that is good, do not get me wrong. It is a lot much more than that. Intentional parenting is a lot much more than that. Okay? So, and the truth of the matter is that what I'm teaching here, all right, is like it's like a composition of everything. It might even confuse a whole lot of us because there's a lot of it being put together. Just pick one thing and run with it so that you don't also confuse yourself a lot. All right. Then the last one. The last one is the principle of connection. They're actually a very long list of it, but I've chosen just a few because of the limited time that we have. 1 hour is not enough to teach nothing. All right. If it comes to parenting, that's why it's a journey. I have parents who have been in the academy for 5 years. The TIP Academy has been 5 years. I have parents who have taken the first course we launched are still in the academy till now. The likes of Temamara, the likes of Amakebo, they are still here, all right, because they understand. The likes of Violet Ojabo, all right. So there are a lot of parents who've been in the academy through the process. And even till now, the learning in the academy is still afresh. Rebecca Lu is here. All right, it's still at fresh because it's a process. It is never end. There's no end. There's no end provided you're raising children. I have learned so much myself raising children, over the past 13 years. The twins are 13. And there are things that I wish that I knew now and all of that, that has happened. So it's important. Now, the principle of connection, communication, and conversation. All right, the principle of connection, communication, and conversation. What does that mean? The principle of being able to create a relationship with your children. Relationship trumps control in parenting. What most of you do, all right, what most of you do in parenting is that you fight for control. That's why you want your children to tell you everything. You want your children to be your friend. You want them to listen. You want them, that's control. All right. Communication, conversation, and connections. That's a core of raising a child who will thrive. And one of the very valuable things we do in the inner circle is create tools for you to be able to connect, communicate, and converse. So talking on top of the head of your child doesn't give you success. It doesn't. People think they do. No, it doesn't. Okay? This is very important. You need to understand that connecting with your child, relationship trumps control anytime in parenting. Anytime. Authority is not force and control. Authority is respect and trust. If your child cannot trust you, if your child cannot respect you, you do not have authority over that child. So when you say authority, it means that you have a connection. You can't influence somebody who can't confide in you. Now, confiding in you is not even about controlling them and getting them, oh, tell me everything that happened. No, it's different. Sometimes my children are telling me something that have happened, some months later. And they're like, Mom, I took this decision. And this is right now, I have a problem. I'm a crossroads on this decision. Can I get some help? That is authority because they understand that you have the ability to influence positively. But many of us do not have authority. We think it's by force and control. That's not authority. The moment you need to control, the moment you need to force, then you have lost authority. That's why I find it very, interesting seeing men who say, don't you know I'm the man of the house? We can already see it. Why do you need to repeat it? The moment you need to say, I'm your father, I'm your mother, don't talk to me like that, you have lost it. That's the truth. You've lost it. Something is gone. Don't you know I'm your mother? Why will you talk to me like that? Don't you know I'm your father? The moment you need to say those things, you're looking for control by force. And the moment you start forcing control, you cannot influence your child anymore, because you can only influence your child if they can trust you through the process. So most of us do not have authority over our children anymore. We now have children who are, talking to their friends, and, it's not that they're coming to come and tell you things every day, but when it matters, do they really come to you to confide in you, to actually ask you questions? Do they really trust you that you can help them through a problem? Do they really respect you? Or you've made them so afraid that they can't confide in you? You've lost authority. You have become a tyrant. You have lost authority. You have to keep reminding them that you are the mother. You're talking, they shouldn't talk. You have lost authority. You have to keep screaming how you are the father, and that when you're talking, everybody should keep quiet. You have lost authority. Authority is not force and control. Authority is respect and trust. Can your children respect you? Can they trust you? You can only confide in people you can trust. It's not people that you fear. You can't confide in people you fear. So when you put up fearful parenting, you actually shut the door of your children being able to trust you. So not fearful parenting, but parenting that can connect with your child. Now, talking about the inner circle, I can see a lot of questions coming up on the inner circle. The next cohort is cohort 2024, right? Cohort 2024 starts 2023/2024 cohort. It starts on the 1st of December 2023. If you want to be part of it, you want to book now. We have almost 500 parents who are already on the waiting list. Some people have paid their complete fee. They are just waiting for December 1st. So don't even kid yourself. You can book a slot at some point and you will not get a slot. All right. We currently have over 2,500 parents in the Inner Circle program. You want to book your slot early so that you don't get to a point where we tell you that there's no slot. People waited last year from January to December. Some people started waiting since December last year. So you wait for a full year to still get into their academy. All right. That is simply because the academy runs a process that if you get into the academy now, as I speak to you, you get confused. You won't be able to thrive. So we don't do that. So it's not about your money. We have almost 1,000 people waiting with their money to give us. Just collect. We just want to enter the inner circle. We're not collecting. We don't want. Do the math. When you calculate, you want to collect the money and just, teach people. No, that's not how we work. Because the process is more important to us than even the money that you're bringing to us. So you wait. And when you wait, you'll be glad that you waited. Trust me. You'll be glad that you waited, through the process. And for couple, if you want to book for couple, the couple fee is 120,000 for couple instead of a single fee, instead of 140,000. Because we want to encourage couples to actually get into the inner circle, fathers especially. All right. However, please note, the inner circle fee is also going to increase soon. And when it does, you won't be able to pay 70,000 naira per person anymore. You would have to pay 100,000 naira. The good news is, if you get to book now with your 5,000 naira, book it down, you would not pay the increased fee when it gets increased. You will still pay the old fee of 70,000 naira per year for a single slot. You can pay in installment. I know people who started paying from January. I know people who have completed their fee already, and you're just waiting. You can pay in installment through the year. You can pay monthly. You can pay however it is that you want to pay. But you can't get into the academy except your fee is complete by the 1st of December 2023. That's the rule. But whether you can pay in installment from now, oh yes, beautiful, we accept that. The team will keep a record. We have a beautiful team who can keep record, of most of the things that we do. And of course, that's very, very, really very sweet. So if you want to book to join the next cohort, you want to do that now, so that you don't get to a point where we are telling you, the slots are gone, you have to wait for the next one, right? Because of course that can happen. That happened last year. That happened 2 years ago, and I cannot assure you, all right, that that won't happen this year. Any other payment apart from naira? Yes, you can pay in dollar, you can pay in pounds. We have all the accounts that you want to pay. We have many parents from outside of Nigeria. We have parents that is from Kenya. We have parents from Namibia. We have parents from the Caribbean. We have parents from all over the world. Cameroonians, Ghanaians. So we're not just serving a Nigerian audience, we're serving a global audience. Oh, so by all means, we have South African parents. Okay, we have American parents. Think about the two of them. So you can join, the program from anywhere. It's online. It's anywhere you can join from it. But trust me, it will be the best thing that happened to your parenting journey. I'm not even bragging enough. I wish I can brag enough. All right. I wish I can brag enough. Okay, so talking about it, do not forget that our course on understanding your child learning style takes off on the 28th of this month, and the early bird offer 15,500 actually ends soon. You want to take advantage of that. It ends in 48 hours. You want to take advantage of that. One of the biggest strategy in parenting is raising people you don't know. No, don't be like me. It took me 5 years to be able to understand how my son learned. All right, so he turned 5, and there were so many errors that were made in that process. All right, I wish I knew his learning style from day one. Yes, it was. Oh, it's all good now. Sounds all good. It's a star student and all of that. But you can start early. You can understand your child's learning style. When they are pretty young, and also begin to walk this journey earlier than you should. Knowledge is a place that you can't even take away. So while you're waiting to join the inner circle, you should get into this course. All right. You should get into the course and then begin to learn through the process. Thank you again for joining me today. It's been an amazing day. And thank you again for the birthday gifts, the prayers, the messages. I'm still battling with those messages. I'm going to respond to everybody who sent me a direct message. All right. Somebody's asking, when does lectures and activities happen in inner circle? I mean, time of the day and weeks. Oh, you don't have a problem with that. You can schedule your process. You can catch up at your time. You do not have a problem. We like I said, we have parents who live in Canada, who live in China. So how do we serve those audience? We serve them because we understand that you can take through the process of self-paced. So it's not a problem at all. All right. So the inner circle program suits everybody in whatever location you are, or whoever you are, whatever job that you do. All right. We have celebrities. We have people who work in the rig. We have all sorts of people. You can't even. The inner circle is a move. A complete movement. It's not just your regular course. Okay. Not just your regular course. Thank you so much for joining me today, and see you. All right. I'm booking a slot now for my husband. Oh, awesome, Amaka. Thank you so much for joining me. See you for the parents in the inner circle. See you in the yard. And for those of you who are listening to me, you're just hearing about the TIP Academy for today. I wish there's something I can do to actually help you see what happens in the academy. We've tried. There are a lot of webinars that were out there a few times and all of that. If you got value from here, imagine what happens in the inner circle. Value chases you, if there's anything like that. All right. Somebody said that you go tire with the kind of value you get. Okay. And thank you for joining me again today. So see you. Please log in to register for the Understanding Your Child's Learning Style course. It's going to help you while you wait on your journey to getting into the academy. Share with me your favorite quotes right in this comment section. Share it with me while we go ahead and begin to shut down for this session. All right. Thank you so much for joining me again and again and again and again. And everybody, thank you again. Do have an amazing day as we begin to close the session today. All right. I think that is about that while we go. Thank you and have an amazing day.
Everyone, my name is Ijama Uchenya, and I'm here to share a little bit about my journey in the inner circle. Prior to this time, I used to be that mom who was so busy, who bought tablet for her son so that she could have time. But that caused a lot of damages. And being in the inner circle has taught me so much, giving me a lot of knowledge which I implemented, in getting my son to be who he is right now. It is an amazing journey. We've been taught a lot of amazing things that I've never heard in my life. Not just my son, I've been transformed already. Like, is it the emotional intelligence, or Coach Wendy said that, do you think it is only you that wants to be proud of your son, that your son also wants to be proud of you? I took up that challenge. I used to be a very timid person. I don't speak in public. But after that day, I took it up. I had groups. I volunteered to, talk. Right now, I'm about to speak in my son's school come this graduation. Like, it's been amazing, an amazing journey. I want to encourage you. Are you this mom who is thinking that it's too late, or there is no remedy? There is. Come to inner circle. Coach Wendy doesn't teach theory. She teaches practical. She guides, like she gives you step by step on what to do. So I encourage you to enroll and see for yourself. Thank you.